Yet again no chargers, that is the Doe's choice on account of Shanquella Robinson, the individual of color who kicked the bucket while traveling with partners in Mexico. In October 2020, the Dove says, there is deficient proof to charge anybody for her demise, the Robinson family lawyer, Sue Ann Robinson. On no connection, it says the Doe's choice is incredibly frustrating. Why, I say, for the family again. We're extremely disheartened, profoundly frustrated, yet we're not hindered in light of the fact that something we've seen previously. And we realize that we need to cut our own way to equity. Robinson knew that when she requested that I go on impact tracking down mission to Mexico, that we were clearly in a situation where there's two different equity frameworks in America. And we realize that in our own, we need to battle for our equity. We need to revitalize for our equity. We need to ask for similar established freedoms, and Shanquella is doing that even in death. Even in death, she's having to battle for her privileges as a U.S. resident, as a casualty of a wrongdoing. The U.S. specialists need to comprehend and need to know that regardless of whether for them, it's not necessary to focus on Shanquella, that U.S. residents can't go to Mexico, carry out a wrongdoing that we as a whole saw on a video, and afterward return to America and express we're on base, we're protected, we won't be accused of a wrongdoing. That can't be the message that the U.S. specialists need to send. So again, disparities caused or errors in the dissection results between Mexican specialists that we've all been examining, that we've been talking about tragically, and not being talked about by the perfect people, have all been brought about by delays in the event, that it had been taken significant all along on the off chance that the web and individuals and virtual entertainment didn't need to make the development behind the case. And the specialists would have gotten involved the moment the video surfaced. There could never have been a defer, there would have been prompt proclamations taken from the people required. There would have been an ideal opportunity to take a quick examination of the body before it was preserved. Those things would have been finished. But since it was the demise of a youthful, dark, lovely, splendid taut lady who was holiday equity, was postponed, Robinson kicked the bucket out traveling with a few partners. As per Mexican specialists, she was a casualty of femicide and a disdain wrongdoing by a few people, including DeJohn Jackson, one individuals. She was going with Robinson's family, hence got a passing testament that expressed that she passed on from basically, and most importantly, essentially a disengagement, or as a matter of some importance her mind was enlarged. Likewise, a wrecked neck in the spine. Two U.S. specialists led a post-mortem on Robinson, and in view of accessible proof, have closed lacking proof. To help the arraignment, the Dodge has not given subtleties of their examination, in spite of the fact that it is a wrongdoing to kill a U.S. resident in a far-off country under the U.S. Constitution. The FBI has not called Robinson's demise a homicide. Mexican specialists rule Robinson's passing once more on the off chance that him to the side. Robinson's family keeps on looking for equity, and they plan a walk in Washington, D.C. to the Dodge on May 19th. Republic Energy Legislative Issues News and Talk 1380 Walk in Atlanta. Rebecca Carruthers, VP Fair, Political Decision Community. Joe Richardson, Social Equality Lawyer. Delighted to have each of you three here. Burglarize. I'll begin with you. So the point that Swain Robinson makes is that in the event that experts in the U.S. didn't stand by, they might have recuperated basic proof, yet pausing and answering tension permitted those required to what a race calls instant messages expected proof. And furthermore, not having a thorough assessment of Robinson's body. Your contemplations on this choice. Oh well, it's a totally disastrous circumstance. I trust that you know individuals who are involved rests soundly around evening time, realizing that they will be spooky by the other phantom of consistently the chance of more data becoming exposed and the others dependably of valuable chance to resume these cases. Proof is found there is no legal time limit on murder, so they might have not had an arraignment as of now. Yet that doesn't mean there's not a chance for an indictment down the line, on the off chance that anyone who's watched the show Initial 48 comprehends the significance of those initial 48 hours after a homicide, since it's so critical to have the option to get new DNA proof, to persuade criminological proof, to have the option to break down the body quickly at the particular moment, when it after they have been expired, to find out precisely exact thing the reason for death passing, were and furthermore to guarantee that you can get those narrative proof. For example, calls, for example, instant messages, and so on. They might go towards demonstrating culpability, all that was missing here. And this is essential for the trouble with the law enforcement, the framework, especially while you're managing global cases, ensuring that this proof is rejuvenated. And afterward, likewise the way that Ems Robinson, for this situation, didn't have anybody with her who was able to call the specialists. They're your main wolf individuals who are concealing for whatever occurred instead of someone who could need to be your ally. I think this is an admonition to us. All be cautious what your identity is around. Be cautious who you are going with. Be cautious who you believe is your dearest companion and who are your home slices. And so on the grounds that by the day's end, this multitude of individuals just need to cover their own paths. And at this moment, it appears to be that they've pulled off it, yet ideally more proof can become exposed. It'll be indicted. Not too far off. Joe, this lady, is dead. Nobody will be considered responsible. And what's insane is Mexico's, not the issue. Mexico appeared to have a more exact examination, to some degree, in that there appeared to be some consistency between what they emerged with. And what we found in that frequently video, is really strong proof that gets you to a spot you don't necessarily research, realizing how it will come out. Examination isn't about a foreordained outcome. It's tied in with taking what you have and seeing where you can go with it. Thus, it is a disgrace that the U.S. government isn't putting on the full weight, putting their weight on it, in a manner of speaking, relating to this issue, especially when you have somebody that might actually be dealt with unquestionably pose inquiries. You can absolutely accept a few trees, figuratively speaking, a few enlightening trees, and figure out all that there is to be figured out. I keep thinking about whether they have done an examination that appears to have an alternate outcome from Mexico. Yet there's no word about them truly unturning, revealing each stone that they need to figure out all that they would be able, and about getting equity for this individual, and for this individual's family. Thus, assuming I'm them, I'd be pondering resoundingly to does this framework bomb us when we're alive, as well as yet when we're dead, in light of the fact that she is an American resident? And there's certain things that ought to be brought to bear connected with that. And you realize you keep thinking about whether this individual was of an alternate influence. Would there be a tad of an alternate response? It's a disgrace we need to maintain that viewpoint, yet they could accomplish more than they're accomplishing without not paying little mind to where it came out. I don't realize that they've gone to the extent that they could go. And to me that would be a flare-up. Rebecca, well, I certainly trust that the Robinson family chooses to seek after an unfair passing claim against the people who went to Mexico with Shanquella and killed her. And furthermore, you realize murder is a wrongdoing in Mexico, so there actually is room and time for the Mexican specialists to seek after murder accusations against those people who going with Shanquella in Mexico. In only 1 second, we discuss obscurity and what occurs in dark culture. We're tied in with covering these things that make a difference to us, addressing our issues and concerns. This is a veritable group-controlled development, a ton of stuff that we're not getting. You get it. And you spread the news. We wish to argue our own objective. To long have others represented us, we can't recount our own story on the off chance that we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Put resources into dark, possessed media. Your dollars matter. We don't need to continue to request that they cover ourselves. So kindly help us in what we would people we like to hit 2000 individuals. 50 this month. Raise 100,000. We're behind 100,000. So we need to hit that. You all cash makes this conceivable. Take some cash orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 2037 Scramble 0196. The money application is $RM unfiltered PayPal. Is our Martin unfiltered Venmo? Is RM unfiltered prison? Is moving at rolandsmartin.com. Music much obliged.